is on page 1501 of your Pew Bible. However, I am initially going to read 23, and I just want to give a preview right before I go into the actual Beatitudes. Jesus went throughout Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and curing every disease and every sickness among the people. So his fame spread throughout all of Syria, and they brought to him all the sick, those who were afflicted with various diseases and pains, demoniacs and epileptics and paralytics, and he cured them all. The great crowds followed him from Galilee to Decapolis to Jerusalem, Judea, and from beyond the Jordan. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. I will continue 1 through 12 right over there in a few minutes. In the beginning of each session meeting, one of the elders is in charge of devotion. All of you elders are very familiar with doing that. And since it was January, I began asking who would like to take February, as our elder Mo had taken this January already. Surprise, surprise. So I began to call out the rest of the months, and the elders took their turn signing up for the devotional for the rest of the session meetings for 2020. But then I got to November, and I had my glasses on, and my head was down, and I had my pen, and I heard a ah. And I kind of looked up over my glasses. That's going to be an interesting month, somebody said. Why, I asked, looking up over those glasses, and I said, well, that's the month we vote, someone said. That's the month we vote, the nation votes for widely for the new administration. Oh, I said. Wow. But we got through November and went on to December. We have somebody for November. I'm not going to tell you who. You can come to the session meeting and see if everybody's faces are, oh. You see, Jesus was affected by the politics of his day too, just as we are today. See how he turned things upside down. Jesus went into the synagogue in the beginning, and you remember he went in and they were selling things, and he went in and he threw things up and he tore stuff up. And people were aghast. Who is this man tearing stuff up and telling us what the rules are? Because he was saying that this is a sacred space. And in this sacred space, we don't have the selling of doves and different things going on. He turned water into wine. You remember that. And then he went to save and redeem Saul, who became Paul. You know, the guy that originally persecuted everybody, and then he saved everybody. Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me, says Jesus. I am Jesus whom you are persecuting. Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do. And I don't know if you remember, Paul was blinded for a while because you see his spirit was blinded. So Jesus said we might as well blind his eyes too for a minute. Let him see how that feels to be blinded from the Holy Spirit. Then one night the Lord spoke to Paul in a vision. Don't be afraid. Keep on speaking. Do not be silent, for I am with you, and no one is going to attack or harm you. You see, he had a job for him to do. And then Jesus healed that bleeding woman, the one that was bleeding for 12 years. And then he healed her because of her faith. And then the little girl who was 12 and she was dead, and then Jesus said, get up. And then the woman caught in adultery, any one of you who is sinless, throw the first stone. He just went on and on and on. When I was in seminary, there was a Dr. Bill Brown, professor of Old Testament, and he was one of my professors at Columbia Theological Seminary in Decatur, Georgia. And he stated this when he spoke about his research. And the question was, what does it mean to be human? That was the question that he was asking. And I'll take it further. What does it mean to be God's? But he gives this answer, and I quote, I love this. For me, as a biblical theologian, include a profound sense of humility and gratitude and indebtedness to our ancestors who lived and sacrificed, adapted and survived and flourished and went nearly extinct. But they cared for the indigent and exercised artistic creativity and exercised and extended cooperation to others. Perhaps part of being human then is carrying on the task of living and leading in uncertain times of crisis and the willingness to unlearn the old and adapt to the new. Well, the last part of that was mine. The end, he said, extended cooperation with others. Now, you see in Bible study this morning, we talked about controversy. And controversy is hitting us between the eyes these days, and probably all days. What I am wearing on my ears are earrings made out of elephant hair. One of these circles is a piece of elephant hair. My mother had these earrings when I was a little girl. And she refused to take anything that was made out of ivory because it meant you had to kill the elephant to get it. And as you know, there's poachers and so forth that still today kill the animal, just the whole animal, just for the ivory. Controversy. I also thought it would go really nicely with a little gift that was given to me by a special young woman back there, and she brought this back from her trip in Africa. So I wore it today in honor of the two, the old and the new. Now, we talked more seriously about controversy in Bible study. And that controversy, I'm also wearing some controversy. At the bottom of this is a rainbow. And you know that many churches, and I'll just say many churches, didn't believe that gay and lesbian and queer should even step foot into church, much less be pastors. I am a living controversy. As you saw last week, I'm a product of a man and a woman that happened to fall in love at the wrong time during the civil rights program, and here I am. I'm also a controversy because I am a female pastor of color, and even to this day, I am not allowed to preach in certain churches. Controversy. Rule keeping. Jesus, when Jesus healed those people, he didn't ask them anything other than to the woman in adultery, go and sin no more. But for the people that had diseases, he just healed them. He just plain old healed them. You see, Jesus went through Galilee teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the good news of the kingdom and curing every disease and every sickness among people. So his fame spread throughout Syria, and they brought to him all the sick, those who were afflicted with various diseases and pains, and it goes on. Now, we talked about controversy again. We talked about that young man, Kaepernick. And of course, you know, he kneeled during the anthem. And oh, you know, it was kind of like the elders. You see? And Larry said, you know, it hit him, and I'm just going to say what you said. He hit him, and he goes, ooh, that hit me wrong. You should stand for the national anthem. But then he said he started reading about why. And the why is the controversy. You see, God has made all kinds of people. People that are more conservative, people that have gone through some things and might understand why that there is a controversy. There's different kinds of people in the world. We're all different. But we're all loved. Now, Jesus sat on the mount and he said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." How many of us have been poor? Anybody here? I mean poor in spirit and pocket, both. Spirit and pocket, you know, where you just down and out. Okay? We can relate to that. He's not talking to one or the other. He is talking to all of us that are blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Anybody mourned in this room? Anybody? Oh. And you know, some days it is so hard to get out of bed when you're mourning, especially if you really, truly love that person. You can't move. You're stagnant. You can't get out of bed. You can't do your hair. You can barely go to the ladies' or gentlemen's room. You can't. And then maybe the phone rings. And this time you pick it up. Because you've been ignoring it the whole time. And somebody says to you, yourself together. Now you see that ring, a lot of people say, well, you know, that's not Jesus. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. You know people who feel that their voices don't matter. We talked about that in our controversy this morning with a young man where he said, it's all right, and he gets shot here, and 3 times here, and he's gone. All he was trying to do is tell the police officer that it's all right. He had AAA on the line and they were on their way. But before he could be understood, he was on the ground dead. His voice was not heard, but the voices after him were heard. People said, that's not fair. We should do something about it. Ha! Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Well, you know how, Mo, you talked about it. Somebody got in front of you, and you're like, wait a minute, this is not just. I'm going 15 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour spot. I'm mad. It's unjust. Somebody cuts you off. Somebody says you can't sit there. No, that's reserved. You can't sit here. You can't be in the front. But things have changed. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. And I add, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. You see, when you have a pure heart, there was a pretty interesting gentleman that did really well in basketball. His name was Kobe, and he had a 13-year-old daughter that died along with him. And I remember somebody saying to me, well, why did she die? Why 13? You haven't even started your life. Why? And I'm sure you have asked that in your own lives with people that appear to be innocent victims of craziness that happens in life. But I'm here to tell you that God is even in it. That young girl died with her daddy. Now, for some of you, you say, yes, she's still dead. Yes, she is. But she had one person with her that she loved more than life probably itself, and that was her daddy. I was a daddy's girl. I understand what that means. Anybody else in here a daddy's girl? Where your daddy was so proud of you? Oh, yes. When your daddy is proud of you, you can do anything. Anything. You can get through the controversies of life because somebody has poured their love and their soul into you. And that is what God does with us. Jesus sitting on the mount saying, you're going to be all right through thick and thin. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you, and falsely on my account rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Do you think that you're the only one? There are people before and people after you that will be persecuted reason, whether they're gay or straight, or whether they're female, whether they have pink hair, or whether they don't fit, or whether they stand or sit, they will be persecuted. There will be persecution, no matter what. But God is saying, so what? Our moral responsibility as Christians is just right here. Our moral responsibility is the Sermon on the Mount. The great crowds followed him from Galilee and the Decapolis, Jerusalem, Judea, and from beyond the Jordan. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him, and then he began to speak, and he taught them, saying, he's not done yet. You're not done yet. Whether we lived 3,000, 4,000 years ago or today, Jesus is alive in our hearts. Jesus is still teaching us. Jesus is here in you, in me, in the differences, in the controversies, in the messiness of life. Jesus is still here. And if you don't think that's true, be sitting at a crossroads and have a car zoom by, and you knew if you had just been a little further forward, you wouldn't be sitting in your pew this morning. You see, sometimes we miss those moments. They are hallelujah moments. They are moments of joy. They are moments that scare the heck out of us because they are real moments. And if you think they're going to disappear just because you're a little older, of course, maybe you're not, but I am. Think again. For the hallelujah moments are the moments on the mount. The hallelujah moments are the moments in our hearts. The hallelujah moments are the moments of joy that we take for granted each day. The hallelujah moments are when we finally see God in this day. And we come to this table, not perfect. We come to this table crawling, ladies and gentlemen. We come to this table to be lifted up and to remember that Christ's blood